I'm Hunter with Big Bang Radio, and today I have with me Miss Dinachi. And I did pronounce that correctly, yes?
Yes, you did.
Yay!
Well done.
That was one thing I was really nervous about, actually. So, I guess to start off with is how long have you been making music and singing and performing?
I came out of the room singing.
You came out of the...
No, no, I mean, I have been singing for a long time, though. Like, since I was probably like 4, 5. Like my whole family just, yeah, everyone just really loves singing. I sang in a lot of choirs as well growing up at school, in church, that sort of thing. But writing music, that's, I suppose, relatively new in comparison. I probably only started writing something like 7 or 8 years ago.
Okay.
I got a guitar and started taking lessons, and then the writing sort of like followed from that naturally. I think that was the order.
That's awesome. So you do know how to play the guitar? Is that the only instrument you're familiar with, or is there like a range that you can play?
Well, it's I should probably say yes, but I mean I dabble a little with piano. I learned piano as a child, but like I got really bored and I gave up. so I can't really count.
Is it like a particular love for string instruments exclusively? Like, because I personally am a huge sucker for string instruments in general.
What, all of them?
Yeah, all piano, violin, harp, the mandolin. Like, there's just something about they just like soothe me. I guess is like there's something beautiful about them. Yeah.
I mean, I do agree with that actually. I really do like string instruments in general, but I don't know if that's why I necessarily picked up the guitar. Actually, I thought it was cool. So a friend of mine, actually, she played the guitar, and I don't know. I don't think I knew anyone who played the guitar before her, and I was just like, actually, this is something I could do. And I think I was probably about 17 then.
About 17?
Yeah, that's quite old to meet someone for the first time that plays the guitar, or like someone I knew anyway.
Well, like I met people in my life that could play like a couple of chords, or they knew one particular song, but it always sticks out in my mind the first time you meet that real musician, like someone who can pick it up and make something with it as well, you know, and there's like a difference between the two.
Yeah, you're right.
So, songwriting, like, that was recent, or, because you said you started singing at 5 and then you got into songwriting later, but how much later? Like,
Well, so probably about 8 years ago. So after I got the guitar, actually my mom signed us up, for my sister and I, for this. It was like a not songwriting class. It was like a production type thing. So like we went in there. There were like 3 or 4 of us in the group. We wrote a song together, and then we recorded it in the studio. It was really random. My mom used to sign us up for like lots of really, really, really random but cool things.
Right.
And I think that was probably the first song I wrote. But actually, that's completely unconnected to writing properly. So that was probably the first song I wrote. And then maybe a few years later, I started playing the guitar, and then I started writing. I think it was probably in the last 4 years that I sort of gone at it more and like tried to just be influenced by everyday life.
Right.
Put it to music.
Right.
Yeah.
So everyday life is like a huge influence on what it is that you write and do. So like most of your songs are personal experience in some way or another.
Yeah. Well, most of them actually, yeah, quite a lot of them are personal experience.
Okay.
But some of them are just, I guess, my thoughts about things.
Right.
1 or 2 are political, but I don't tend to go into the political realm of things.
Right. No, but I mean, even if it's stuff that you've just thought about and noticed, that's still in some way personal experience, isn't it?
It's true.
Yeah.
Good point.
But like, so I have a problem where I feel like some music is just like mass produced, just to be like generally accepted by the largest number of people, but I don't feel like that's like real music. That's like stock paintings and photographs, and you know, and it's just to be sold. Do you think for it to be like a real moving like piece or something that really touches people, it has to have that personal touch to it?
That's a good question. I think people are touched by different things, and like the motive or like what influences the actual, like the song in this case, doesn't always, like you could just be writing like a pop song that like has like a catchy melody and like generic lyrics, but like that might be what someone needs to hear. So like I guess I can't say, oh, it has to be from the heart and it has to be from that like deep dark place, and like it has to be sort of drawn out like blood from the stone. Otherwise, I don't think I could say that. But actually, yeah, that's a good point actually, because you can't say that, you can't put like a box. You can't put a box. You can't put what touches people into a box.
Right. So it's just as much.
What about that?
So it's like just as much to you. It's just as much the listener as it is the person creating it. So like the person who hears it can be touched regardless of the intent it was made with.
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. Does that make sense?
It does. It really, yeah, it does. No.
I think, but to your point though, I think people do connect with honesty.
Yes.
And especially with live music, like like you can tell when someone is singing from the heart, and like actually that's part of why I love like sort of the live setting. I mean, it's great to do records and have playing on radio. Thanks guys for playing my track. That's
awesome.
But yeah, like in a live setting, you like connect with people in a different way, and that's really cool.
Has anything that you've written or made it to radio play, local or otherwise?
I thought it was being played on WNIA.
It is being played here, but I'm asking locally for like, have you been able to actually hear yourself on the radio yet?
Yeah, so Fresh Love was actually picked up by BBC. Have you heard of the BBC radio?
The only reason I'm familiar with BBC is because of Top Gear, because I have to admit the British version of that show is by far superior to any other I've ever seen. Like they tried to come out with this American version, but I couldn't bear it.
I didn't know there was an American version.
Yeah, you shouldn't. It's not. It's inferior. In every way. Now, The Office, on the other hand, as random as it is, the American Office I love. But maybe it's because
I haven't watched The Office, but I've heard the opposite. But okay.
I guess it's whichever one you see first, probably. Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, but no. So it has been picked up by the BBC in your area, and.
Well, yeah. So the BBC have this thing called BBC Introducing, and. So they have the main national ones which everybody listens to, but then they have local radio stations. So it's been picked up by a local radio station. So that was really cool. And I think not a couple of months, next month, December.
Okay.
I'm going to be on the radio too as well, doing a live out there. So that's quite exciting.
That is so. What was that experience like for you? It's like for hearing it on the radio for the first time, and like, oh, I made that. Like, what is that like?
It was actually really cool. Actually, I actually did a post on social media of me like a boomerang dance kind of. It was actually. If you're really bored one day, you can like scroll back. Scroll back a few months and you might see it.
That's awesome, though. Well, hey, if you don't like it, who will, right? Like, you gotta like your own music.
Yeah, I think it obviously, like I've heard it so many times, I know what it sounds like, but like it's hearing it and then hearing somebody else thinks it's good enough to be on radio, hearing what they think about it as well. Right. That was really cool.
All right. Have you had to deal with like any like negative comments or anything along those lines? Well, of course, it's the internet, I'm sure some, but like, does that really like affect you or bother you on like a personal level? Like, if there is detractors? I'm not saying there are, I'm just asking.
I don't know, I think, perhaps, I don't think I've quite got to the level where like you get like trolls and stuff. So I think generally people are still quite nice. And I think if they don't like it, they probably just wouldn't comment. But I guess there's. But I think the bigger you get, then the more you're likely to get people saying nasty things because they can hide and stuff like that. But then I suppose the an equivalent would be like, you know, as an unsigned writer, independent musician, sort of you apply for lots of things and sometimes you get rejections, and I guess it's just dealing with that and moving on and trying to build on each experience that you have.
Okay.
And that's what I do.
That's awesome. Well, I guess like you're from England, I'm assuming. Or
yeah, well, I'm actually originally from Nigeria.
Okay.
I grew up in Lagos actually, but I've lived here for so long now. So I guess technically I'm from here.
You're basically
I can't.
Yeah. No. So you were born in Nigeria, moved to England. So whereabouts in England do you live? Well, actually, that might be like what's like just the local area, I guess is what I'm trying.
What's my address?
Yeah, blood type. You know, some form of identification. I just need don't worry why, but.
Actually, I'll just send you my credit card details.
No, I don't know. It's just curious. Like, it's fun to.
I live in London.
In London? That's awesome.
Yes.
It's like the question that immediately follows that is does it ever get tiring with like a lot of tourists in the area, like looking at the stuff, or do the sites that interest them ever grow boring the longer you live there?
To be honest, like I suppose it's what they say. Like if you live somewhere, you don't really appreciate the sights. Well, I don't know if they say this, but my feeling anyway is that like you kind of take them for granted and like you see them every day. Whether the tourists are annoying, I'm not really in the touristy areas that often, so I don't get to be annoyed by them. Actually, the other day I was walking through Green Park just by Buckingham Palace, and I didn't know what was happening, but there were lots of people there, and it was quite annoying trying to get through them to get to the other side. But other than that, I like tourists. They're alright.
They're alright? Yeah. All right, that's good enough.
Hi, I'm Dinachi, and this is my song, Fresh Love.
Got my feet twisted up in knots, rolling and rolling around in bed, talking to you until 3 o'clock in the morning, learning to survive in 5 hours a night. And then I'm falling asleep, whispering your name, and waking up to your words on my mind, telling you how to play. But I don't ever care in the world, 'cause you're my fresh love, fresh love. Got me saying things I never said before. Fresh love, got me doing things I don't do for me. You got me with your fresh love, honey, hey, ooh, you're my California sunshine dream. Oh, the way you hold me in your arms, I know that you are here to stay. Got my thoughts scribbled on the pages, reams and reams of paper filled with words about you. Letting my heart out in the morning, learning to be patient till I have you back at night. And then I'm falling for you 'cause you're making me feel brand new. I'm waking up to you loving me just as I am. It's true that I don't ever care in the world, 'cause you're my fresh love, fresh love. Got me saying things I never said before. Fresh love, got me doing things I don't do for me. You got me with your fresh love, ooh, you're my California sunshine dream. All the way you hold me in your arms, I know that you are here to stay. Yeah. Fresh love, ooh, the way you hold me, the way you put your arms around me, ooh, the way you hold me. And then I'm falling asleep, whispering your name, waking up to your words in my mind, telling you how to play. But I don't ever care in the world, 'cause you're my fresh love.
if you have an ultimate goal with what you're doing musically, or are you making music just to make something, just because that's in your blood?
I think it has, for me anyway, I think anything I do, at least ideally, I want it to not just be about me and like just for the sake of it. I think it's important for things to like to impact other people, if that makes any sense. So like, so yeah, I'd love to. Obviously, it would be nice to for lots of people to hear about my music and all of that. But I think it's more important to like connect with people and share with them like sort of stories behind the song and stuff like that. And yeah, it's nice to have lots of plays, but then like on like Spotify, etc. But then like more.
So it's more important to you to be like a positive force than it is to just be really popular, right?
I've never thought of it that way. Yes, I would like to be a
positive force. Yeah. Well, no, like I don't know. I feel like a lot of people can get bogged down with negativity, but you never know how just saying hey to somebody could like totally turn that day around, you know. And it's little things that you never get to see, but there are far and wide implications for every action, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. This is gonna be random, okay? What's with the board behind you? Like, I just see Star Wars and Thor in the corner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I should have done some prep for the background.
No,
It's quite cool actually.
So like, is that does that say bucket list on the bottom right over there?
Stop reading my board.
I'm sorry. I'm just curious. Like,
no, it says Star Wars. I'm going to see Star Wars tonight.
okay.
No, sorry, I'm not going to see Star Wars tonight.
Not
My
tonight.
husband is he's shaking his head in the corner. He's like, we're going to see Justice League.
Justice League.
Yeah, JL.
Justice League. Okay. Cool beans.
Star Wars is for when it comes out in December.
Okay.
Sure, I knew that.
So like, is that just stuff to do in general?
Yes.
That's awesome
It's
though.
just stuff to do.
So do you have to write things down?
I don't. Somebody else has to.
Somebody else has to? No, like I understand the compulsion. Like whenever I have an idea that needs to be written down, it needs to be written down, you know? Like I just sometimes have to stop everything and like, no, this, anyway. So how long have you been married? Unless you're uncomfortable with that question.
4 months.
How long?
4 months.
4 months? And, so like, is he supportive of your career?
He is very supportive, yeah.
Is he also a fan?
He is. At least I would say that he is. That's what he tells me. Not-
That's cool. So is there anything that you're working on right now musically? Like, is there like a new project that you're working towards, or is this like a resting period for you?
So my new album has just come out, so Parables. I don't know if you've heard it. If you've not, you should.
It's on Spotify?
It is on Spotify.
Is it on YouTube?
It's, well,
Or some of it? Okay.
I've got like one of the tracks, like a live performance of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really good with YouTube in general. But yeah, so I've got this new album and I'm sort of pushing it and trying to tell the whole world about it. So I'm glad that you're talking to me about it.
So, have you ever made like a music video for any of your songs, or?
No, I haven't. I've done a couple of like live acoustic videos and like things like that. But no, I haven't done any music videos. I'm thinking about doing one for Fresh Love.
Okay.
I'm actually thinking of. So I borrowed my friend's camera, and I'm thinking of doing it myself. But haven't figured that out. Yeah, I'm not doing it. But I think I'm able to do one. I really want to. I just haven't worked out the budget for me.
Okay. Well, no, that's awesome though. Just constantly moving forward with it, just trying to do that next step, building it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But no, like I have to admit, it's been a real pleasure speaking with you today. No, it's always fun to get to talk to people, and especially people. I don't know, like there's this certain, like when you meet somebody who's well traveled, there's like a certain wisdom about them that's not easily attainable. You know what I mean? And so it's just always fascinating for me to get to talk to people who are from like all these other like cultures and because like it's strange because a lot of people like they criticize America because we don't know geography very well, but there's like a whole different mindset here because you can drive for hours and just still be here. You know what I mean? And it just must be so fascinating to be able to go, oh, I'm going to drive to another country. Like that's crazy to me to think about. But has being so close to so many cultures, has that like influenced you musically at all?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I suppose growing up in Nigeria, like the music there is very different to how it is here, and like moving here and like everyone. But as I said, there's also like there's the international sort of music that everyone listens to, like Jennifer Lopez and I don't know who else are the other people. To be fair, I wasn't really with the in crowd, so I didn't really know everyone. But like I feel like everyone that grew up in the 90s was listening to the same music, almost regardless of where you live. But there's definitely growing up in Nigeria, there's musical influence. People like Fela, Asha, and Lagbaja. Not that you know any of these people, but then also moving here to London. The music scene here is legit.
Once again, it has been a huge pleasure talking to you, and I hope that your career just takes off and everything's like wonderful for you because you seem like a really lovely and genuine person, and I have a huge amount of respect for people who are genuine and are just being themselves. You're not making music for any selfish or megalomaniacal reasons, and that's always like a really refreshing thing. But no, look, you have a wonderful day, and hopefully I'll get to talk to you again sometime.
Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.